Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today, we are discussing the earliest version of the Vacheron Constantin Quai, a timepiece in Palladium that may be the rarest of the launch variants of this model. So it is in white precious metal, hallmarked Palladium, 41 millimeters in diameter, 13.2 millimeters thick, and from lug to lug, 50.2 millimeters with a 23 millimeter spacing between the lugs. On the wrist, you could see it as a formidable presence, tonneau-shaped, and because it was launched in 2008, reflective of that decade's emphasis on wrist presence and outsized persona in timekeeping. This was the decade that gave us the 44 millimeter Royal Oak Offshore, the Hublot Big Bang, and the King Power, and Grubel 4C watches with multiple tourbillon. In that frame, this watch is downright reasonable. Large, but beautiful in detail. The timepiece is broad across my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, and you need a big wrist to wear this watch. I actually wouldn't wear it on a wrist any smaller than mine, so 16 centimeters circumference or larger, and that is due to the size of the tonneau case, which though a 41 wears more like a 43. Taking a look at the strap, it's equal to the reputation of a Vacheron, and a flagship piece nonetheless. As you can see, we have a large rectangular scale alligator leather strap, high gloss, a sheer cut side, lots of bolstering, so you can see the leather here is exceptionally thick to better match against the thickness of the lugs. You have a double deploying clasp, and if you look carefully, you can see that there is a little fixing screw, so you actually fix the buckle to the strap. This is an additional measure of security against dropping your watch over and above the simple deploying clasp. So a deployant makes it hard to drop your watch. The screw-fixed buckle, harder still. You can see that even the clasp is hallmarked in PD 950, that's Palladium, and there's a Maltese cross externally. There is a twin trigger system, so the clasp will not pop open unless you depress those triggers. Taking a look at the case, several materials were available, of which Palladium is probably the scarcest. Very few of these were made, and impressively, especially compared to later Quai models, this one features screws and bars to retain the strap rather than spring bars. That's an expensive way of building a case, but it's also a more secure way of fixing a strap to a case. Taking a quick look at the watch in profile, there's a lot going on. Several different layers, several different shapes, and you can see both satination and polish for the sake of contrast. The case is immensely complex, and it includes 7 primary components, so a lot goes into building it. If you wanted to truly press the limits of good taste, you could construct your case from several different materials, and that build your own watch flexibility resulted in some abominations. Straight up metal, that is one metal all the way through for all 7 pieces, was probably the best way to go. And in Palladium, this one actually looks more like platinum than it does white gold. It's very, very white. We have a Maltese cross on the crown, and then a dial that is just blazoned with multiple anti-counterfeiting measures. And this was one of the original sales pitches for the Quai. It uses technology borrowed from banknote anti-counterfeiting. So what's going on here? Well, a lot. There is a film that is a polymer film used to apply these innumerable tiny Maltese crosses. On that polymer film, we have security inks as well as invisible inks that only show up under certain wavelengths of light. In addition, we have metallization, so a galvanic creation of metallized deposits in the form of the numerals. Those have been actually built up. We also have laser engraving with and without ink. So you can see Swiss made is engraved without ink, and then the name of the company is engraved and it has been white inked. So both of those are present. We have the metallization that creates microtext on the dial, and you could see if you look around the edge of the track for the date that there is text, and that text, among others, on the dial has been made possible using that metallization technique, so it hasn't simply been printed. The idea behind all of this is to create a watch that is both very technical and a little bit outre in the way it looks, but also very difficult to counterfeit. And it is a very legible watch with blackened hands on top of this convoluted base. It's easy to read the time, and thoughtfully, Vacheron made this a sporty dress watch, as we do have plenty of luminescence in the hour and minute hands, and then an unusual orbital date. So it's not so much the numeral that moves, it is a light panel that winds up underpinning and effectively backlighting the date. And there is a quick set. There is also, as you can see, a hacking seconds function, and much of the caliber 2460 is visible underneath the overlays. So we have the various elements. We have the sapphire, we have a secondary sapphire, we have the metallization, we have the laser engraving, we have the various types of ink, we have the polymer film and the various printings upon it. And then you can see that there's Côte de Genève across the bridges at the center, and that it is a handsomely decorated movement in the Geneva seal fashion. We do have Poinçon de Genève finish, and you can see PD 950 on the reverse of the watch, and the Geneva hallmark on the base plate of the movement. This is a Vacheron in-house caliber. Though the rotor appears to be tungsten, it is in fact 22 karat gold, so no expense spared right here. It's an automatic winder with ceramic rotor bearings and a 40-hour power reserve. It pivots on 27 joules, and it is adjusted in 5 positions, which is the high horology and chronometer standard, so no detail is overlooked. It is quite attractive in all regards, and it is regulated to be precise in addition to being beautiful. And there is invisible ink on the reverse side of the case, so you can't see it on the underside sapphire. Lots to love, a rare version of an already rare watch. As the Quai de Lille launched into the teeth of the global economic recession that spanned continents and nations and markets and pretty much affected everyone everywhere, so very few of these original custom-built Quai de Lille models made it to market, fewer still in ultra-white precious metal palladium. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details, and take note, though this is a highly sporty watch, it is a 30-meter water-resistant watch, so if you want to get wet and wild, you'll need an overseas for that.